King Gizzard has officially announced their 24th studio album, Petrodragonic Apocalypse. And with each Giz album announcement, there's always so much excitement in the fandom. Everyone's guessing song titles and trying to find previously missed clues, predicting how many rap verses Ambrose is going to get. It's a great time all around. However, perhaps most important is each album announcement brings its own batch of vinyl records. Giz heads are drawn to these things like moths to a flame, and I can speak from experience because I am one of those moths. And oh man, whenever those pre-orders go live, you have like 5 seconds to pick out which one you want, and sometimes it's hard to tell which one you're getting based on the picture, so you just go with which one sounds the coolest. It's just a great experience. So what if you're like me and you suffer from a complete lack of patience, you need the album right now, you don't want to wait for it. Where do you go in a situation like that? I live in the Pittsburgh area, and I've met a few King Gizzard fans that live around here, and pretty much all of them have recommended to me Attic Records. They said that their King Gizzard selection is top-notch, and the people that work there are super friendly, so I decided I had to check it out for myself. And ever since I went for the first time, I have been a regular customer. They just got such a great selection, especially with King Gizzard stuff. So I'm always going in there and checking things out, and I actually became friends with someone that works there. His name's Tony. I feel like everyone kind of knows Tony if you've been to the Attic Records. He's a huge King Gizzard fan. I actually hung out with him at a King Gizzard concert once. It was a really cool time. And a while back, I actually asked him if he'd be down to do a one-on-one interview so we could kind of share what it's like working at a record shop as a King Gizzard fan. And so, here's how that interview went.
No, my name is Tony Thiel. I work at the Attic. We don't have like job titles here. Been working here for a couple years. This was like my happy place. I started coming to Pittsburgh about 10 years ago. And I decided to move here from the Cleveland area I used to teach, and I just wanted to use my music knowledge a little more than I was. And so anyway, I came here, started off just stocking shelves, but now I do a little bit of everything. I'm ordering records, I'm buying collections, I go to people's houses to buy collections, all that type of stuff. So I basically just like do a little bit of everything. If you want to call it a manager, then I'm a manager. So like, I had friends in college that were really into the very early King Gizzard. And I said, nah, it's something about it. I can't do it. Like the name, it just doesn't sound like something I'd be into, Like it's cool, but it's not, I don't know, something about it. So I had people keep pushing me. And finally, I'd say like maybe late 2016, a couple years after I graduated college, and missed them one time in Cleveland already at that time. They were just going to drop Flying Microtonal Banana, so I was like, I'm going to check this out, And shortly after that, I immediately was on the hunt for tickets, and I got to see him in 2017, so.
And you've been a guest fan ever since.
Oh, absolutely,
like
yeah.
I
was in the front row then, and I waited like all day, so.
And that reminds me, because we actually went to the Pittsburgh show back in May here in Millville.
Yeah.
And we ran into each other in the front row.
Right.
That was such a fun coincidence. I was not expecting that. But.
Oh, I got to take it serious, man. You got to get out there early. I mean, that's just... Yeah. That's the old school in me. You just gotta be there all day.
And for sure, speaking of that, whenever King Gizzard was here in town, did they stop by the shop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I saw the tour bus roll up. I was texting a few friends. I actually was like in line and then also working here a little bit too. Like I would just keep running down the street and like just like check out the store. And so I ran into Ambrose, told him to come down here, and he and Jason like got in an Uber and like I don't know, they went somewhere and they came back with 2 skateboards. So I was like, I thought they had the skateboards with them. So they were skateboarding around town. I saw Joey around the corner, but he said he like would probably just come after the show. But then Jason and Lucas came in here, and I sold them both some records. I sold Jason MF Doom, and Lucas bought the new Big Thief record, and they both were amazed. And Ambrose came down. He said he just wanted some more vintage clothing, and he just said like it was too tempting, like there was so much down here. So yeah, no, they were definitely.
They check out the King Gizzard collection.
They did, and I actually had moved a lot of my King Gizzard, like one of each, right up front here. And Lucas was like looking at the bootlegger stuff because he was like, "Man, this is so much." Like, I think just to see him in person, because like he had seen them, but it was a matter of like having them all in one place, and it's just like this is like all my work,
Yeah, exactly.
So they were definitely admiring it. It was cool, and I gave him a friend of mine made a bootlegger a cassette like out of maybe 20 copies, and I gave it to Lucas personally, and he said it was really cool. It was called Burn the Nest. So their subreddit was on fire about that. My friend John was making a joke about a sequel to Infest the Rat's Nest. People got crazy, and then it spiraled out of control, and then he was like, okay, fine, I'll just make like a live Infest the Rat's Nest. It's not, it's just a bootlegger. So I gave it to the band, and they said it was dope. So
as I've gotten into King Gizzard and I've talked to fans that live around the area, the Attic has kind of gotten the reputation as the go-to King Gizzard record spot in the area. How does that feel working here and to hear that kind of thing?
It feels good. I mean, I think it's a reflection of how much I enjoy the band and how much, we all sort of like their stuff and like stalking bands that have a deep catalog. Our store, if you're not familiar with it, is very large, There's a lot of other cities, like busy cities in the US that don't have as much here. So we have deep volume. So a band like that, I can stock all their records. But I never really thought of us as a King Gizzard spot until you brought it up, just because I just want to make sure I have everything that I can get my hands on,
Yeah.
And if other people appreciate that, that's great, because people do come here and they buy 2 or 3 or even 5 of their albums at a time. So
and
I guess we are the spot.
Display out front too. So
yeah, I did that. I did that awesome display. I'm trying to win a test pressing, but I
cool.
don't know.
So it's kind of like a little contest.
It was a contest, but they've yet to judge it, and I don't know if they will. I don't know if they tricked me. But,
Okay.
but either way, I'm happy that I got the front window going with all the King Gizzard stuff.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite part of working in sort of music or with music is because music's important to me. I've been playing the drums since I was 4. I have a lot of deep musical knowledge. Like, that's just sort of like how my brain works. I just like to, have things like organized in a way that makes sense to me, and I sort of like look at the world through that, So that's probably my favorite part. And that goes into so many avenues. Like, I've met people that want me to play music with them, like live music. I've met people who, I then see at concerts, I am able to give away tickets sometimes. That's like really cool. That just, it's a cool aspect,
Share that
because
experience.
Of course. And then there's also like the aspect of like, it really sort of zeroes in here on like Pittsburgh history. Like, we're a real music lovers city. And I think some people might take that for granted sometimes, but with the used collections I get, or just the questions I get, people want these things. Like, they're so passionate about music. And I have people, in their 70s, maybe even 80 years old, calling me, and I'm mailing them records. They can't physically come here,
Wow.
and I'm mailing them music, and it just feels really good, that sort of goes with that longevity,
Sharing that love of music and appreciation with other people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great. And
you're saying you used to teach before. Did you teach the music? Education?
No, I didn't. I was an English teacher for a while, and I taught art for a while. I was doing a bunch of different things, but I did volunteer and sort of help the school band, but I just wanted to do a little more about like music appreciation. And sometimes school, it's a little tricky. Like, if it's a class or if it's like part of the curriculum, I feel like you don't really get like the passion in there, and there's not a lot of room for creativity.
Yeah.
So I sort of wanted to use that as well. And I figure, if I can recommend some music or find some things, or I learn new things every day here, that's sort of my goal coming down here, and less stress too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
So guys, what did you think? Hopefully you found it just as interesting as I did. It was a great experience. I want to thank Attic Records and Tony so much for letting me come and film and do the interview. It was such a fun experience, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. And hopefully you are now well equipped to buying your very own vinyl record. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you're excited for the new Giz album coming out. And I'll see you in my next video.